And we are live. Excuse me. All right, let's get this going. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday, March 5th, 2021. Today we're talking about updates from Beta Land, and we're just inundated with iPhone rumors because this is the iMore show. Joining me as always is iMore contributor Karen Freeman. Hiya, Karen.
Hello.
And joining us today as our special guest is iMore writer Christine Romero-Chan. Hiya, Christine.
Hi.
And of course, I am iMore managing editor Joe Keller. And so because we are chock full of iPhone rumors this week, naturally we're going to start talking about betas. Just a little update on some stuff we've been tracking. So first of all, a new tab has appeared in the latest iOS 14.5 beta in the Find My app. It's finally happening, right? Well, it's interesting because this is the new Items tab, what we're talking about here. It appeared in beta 3 of iOS 14.5, and
It's got to be AirTags. It's got to be.
So this is
what
the
else
question.
would it be?
So this is the question. So here's the thing. Recently, some third-party products have been coming out with support for the Find My app. Like at CES, I want to say it was Anchor. No, it was Belkin. Belkin announced a set of wireless earbuds that support Find My because Apple added the ability for accessory makers to do that. And I think that's what this tab is actually for. My thought, and see if we agree here, my thought is that AirTags are going to show up in the main tab with your other Apple devices. And the only difference here is you'll be able to name them. So what do we think?
Yeah, maybe AirTags will get its own tab. But then I don't know. We'll see.
It's an odd one, certainly. And it does, and to the thought that this might be about AirTags, it does say keep track of everyday items. So I mean, earbuds might be everyday items for some people, but keys are more likely, and bags,
wallets.
Yeah.
I just feel like Apple wouldn't add a whole tab just for like Belkin and a couple other brands.
Right now it's only a couple of brands.
I mean, but I guess it could expand. I guess other third-party companies might be in the process of making some Find My applicable items. I don't know.
And you do have to take into consideration what is the icon for that tab. It's 4 circular dots stacked, in a square. Those could be AirTags.
That totally says AirTags to me. Like, buy 4 AirTags, everybody. It's a subliminal message.
AirTags. Buy at least 4. Yeah, I'm coming around to this way of thinking, but when I saw that this week, it just struck me like, wait a minute, wouldn't AirTags just go in the main tab? But no, maybe they keep that for device. Maybe they just keep that for the devices because they have that separate tab. They have people, they have devices, they have items. That does make sense. Christine, do you have any particular opinion one way or the other what we're looking at here?
Well, first, I just want to see AirTags.
Yeah. Where are they? Come on.
Yeah. That's just my thing. Like, I think it's cool that other accessory makers are going to implement the Find My stuff, but I just want to see AirTags to begin with. So hopefully that'll be this month. Hopefully, crossing our fingers.
Yeah. There's the thought that we're finally going to have that event this month. No idea just when yet, or when just yet.
Probably not March 16th, as all the rumors were saying.
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt that. Although, keep in mind that with the pre-taped events that Apple's done, like they did last fall, we did have like a week's notice before each of those instead of the kind of normal 2 weeks because nobody has to make travel plans.
Yeah.
Right.
So We might find out next week.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have to give a week's notice, really.
Yeah, it could just be a couple days.
Right.
If it's on a Tuesday, they could just say, "Hey," on Monday morning, "Hey, by the way, we're doing a thing."
They could.
Yeah, that would be the presentation version of what they did with the iOS 14 release last fall. It's like, by the way, it's coming tomorrow. Oh no!
Well, remember when Apple started just releasing new products at like 6 a.m. Pacific time?
Yeah.
I didn't like that because I woke up and I'm like, I missed all the fun.
Oh, it was like every day for a week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like something new every day.
Yeah.
I want to say it was the
weird.
end of March 2019 or end of May. No, end of March. It was end of March. We got the I want to say new AirPods, the AirPods 2. We got the iPad Mini 5 and the iPad Air 3.
Yeah,
That was
something like that.
That week was. Oh, I also think we got an iPod Touch in there somewhere.
That was crazy. We were like, when is it going to stop? Are we just going to keep getting something new every day, like for a week, for weeks? Like, what's going on here?
Content schedule. What are you doing to us, Apple? So yeah, I hope we'll see it soon. I hope it is an event, and I hope it's not just a press release.
Yeah,
because I'm ready for an event. I'm not as ready for a press release.
Yeah, the events are fun. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they're fun, and I think everybody responded to very positively to them last fall.
Yeah,
they were really well done.
Yeah,
and so
they're very slick, and there's always the possibility of memes coming out of them, like the one with Craig, like looking in the MacBook with like love in his eyes, like that made the rounds for a while. That was fun.
And speaking of the Mac event, the thing that strikes me about that in particular is it showed that Apple isn't gonna force itself to do a whole hour, even because that one was 45 minutes. And with between AirTags and iPad Pro, maybe you could fill an hour if you have a lot to say about AirTags. If there's more to them than just they track your keys or your dog or whatever.
But the pre-recorded ones can go a lot faster than the ones in person.
Exactly. No applause breaks, none of that sort of thing. They can do some funny visual gags.
Yeah, there's no like moving people around on and off the stage.
Right.
It's just instant.
Yeah, and so yeah, I want to see where's season 2, Apple, of your events. We had season 1, or maybe it'll do the Netflix thing, season 1 part 2. That's what we're in for. All right, so yeah, that's part 1 of Beta Land. Is we have an items tab, and it could mean AirTags, but the other thing that came out this week is about the sort of default music app, which we have to put air quotes around now, stuff with Siri that's appeared in the betas, because it isn't quite what we were thinking it is, at least according to Apple. Although I think this might be a semantic difference rather than an actual difference. So since I think the first revised beta, one of the things you've been able to do is request Siri that Siri play a song, and then Siri would ask you, how should I play this? And the same goes for podcasts too. You could also ask it play a podcast episode. It would do the same thing. And so you could pick like Apple Music, or you could pick Spotify or Pandora, a bunch of other audio apps. And then for like podcasts, you could pick Overcast or Pocket Cast or something like that. But now Apple has clarified this a bit. They've actually come out and said something, which is wild. So yeah, Karen, do you want to go into this a little bit?
I'm probably not the best person to go into detail because I don't use Spotify or any of that, so it's not really my passion point.
Yeah. All right. Then in that case, Christine, do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I'm an Apple Music subscriber, so I don't really use Spotify, but it is disappointing that you can't just set the default music player.
Yeah.
It kind of forces people to use Apple Music in that sense if they want like that seamless integration, and it's like not everyone likes Apple Music, and
or wants to pay for it.
Yeah.
My thought on this is, so what we're talking about, the clarification here is, you don't actually, there's not a setting for this. Apple came out and said that there's not going to be a setting for this like there is for like there are for email clients and web browsers. So in iOS 14 they added the ability to set an email app as default other than the mail app, and set a browser as default other than Safari. The problem I've always had with this is you have to go into the settings for the individual app itself, the settings panel in the settings app. So they make it more difficult than it really needs to be.
Mhm.
There's not a similar panel coming in iOS 14.5 for audio apps. So this is all based around Siri, and it's all about teaching Siri user preferences. It's what Apple has said. So one thing I've noticed this week is it's better. This whole Siri asking me the question thing is better. So I'll say play this song. I say play in Apple Music, and then it doesn't ask me the next time I ask to play a song. It'll just go to Apple Music. Same with podcasts. I say play the latest episode of the iMore show. First it asks me, I'll say Overcast, and then the next time it'll just play the show in Overcast. So it has been more consistent, but I would like a system level settings panel. And I wonder if maybe we're getting it in iOS 15. Like they're waiting until the big release to actually give us that. Because I feel like we're going to see an expansion of default apps, come this summer and fall.
Yeah.
I feel like music's kind of a sticking point though, because Apple can let you use a different podcast app or weather app or mail app, and that doesn't cost Apple anything. But if they let you use Spotify instead of Apple Music, then they're losing out on your Apple Music subscription.
Yes, that's true. But we're also living in a time where Apple is under increased antitrust scrutiny across the world, and in particular with regards to music and music services. I think
this is true. So maybe it would be in their best interest to go ahead and make it easy for people to let them choose whatever music service they want.
And what's odd to me about this is actually in the Home app, there are settings for this. There is a panel. Spotify doesn't support it right now, and that's actually on Spotify, but you can set Pandora as your default music service, for instance, because Pandora has updated to support it. I think you do need an update. The app itself on your phone needs to be updated, but you can then use that to update your settings on the HomePod. Yeah, I would like to see Apple move a little faster on this sort of thing, and I would like them not to just rely on Siri. I don't
use Siri like a lot because Siri has never been great for me, so I just don't really use it.
Yeah, I feel like Apple has a really hard time letting go of control in these situations, but perhaps they'll get there eventually.
Yeah. I think you just hit the nail on the head there, Karen. Giving up control is really kind of the issue here. It's just give me give me the control I need, Apple. That's all. I don't need all of the control. I just need more. Just need some more. All right. Now we are firmly exiting what I affectionately call beta land, because oh boy.
So many rumors.
So many rumors.
I always feel like we need to say some kind of special disclaimer that we're talking about rumors.
Yeah.
That they're not confirmed. Like there's a lot of hubbub on the internet this week about people saying that rumors were confirmed, but they're not confirmed until Apple comes out and says something, in which case it's no longer a rumor. So there's no such thing as a confirmed rumor.
Right. It's only a confirmed rumor when Apple makes the announcement.
Then it's not a rumor anymore. Then it's news.
Then it's, oh, hey, that person got something right.
Right.
So before we dive right into future iPhones, let's start with accessories. We'll go in sort of timeline order of when we might expect this. And we've got this, just a quick one about the iPhone 12 MagSafe battery pack that's been rumored recently. First, this popped up in the last couple of weeks, but now it looks like this might have more to it than just charging your iPhone. Christine, what have we heard about the MagSafe battery pack this week?
This week, so it might do reverse charging. So basically, while it's on your iPhone, attached magnetically with MagSafe, it should also be able to charge your like AirPods or AirPods Pro while on your iPhone.
Or AirTags.
Yeah, or the AirTags that we don't have yet.
I'm just thinking AirTags would be just the right size to just pop onto the back of your battery.
And then if the AirTags connect magnetically in the first place, and it's a reverse MagSafe charger as well, you could take the battery pack off, leave the AirTag on, and then you'd have an AirTag attached to the battery pack.
So you don't lose it. That would be great.
The whole thing.
So do we think the reverse charge would be enough to charge a second phone?
Ooh.
Or not that powerful?
Probably not. I mean, I would bet against it. I would bet against it. But that would be cool. If it was a dual-sided MagSafe thing, and you could do it, you go on a trip and you do an iPhone charging sandwich, and then in the morning you forget which phone is whose because you got the same color. And everything's just a disaster.
Well, that's why we have cases.
That's why you have MagSafe cases.
Yes, indeed. Yes. But yeah, we've heard rumors of reverse charging coming to iPhone for a while. Some people have said that there's certain hardware in the past few iPhones that actually supports it to a certain extent. So this is one way it could happen. This could be a finally, because I feel like reverse charging, except for things like AirPods or AirTags, has kind of limited utility.
Yeah.
I
feel like to be powerful enough to do much, it would have to be so huge.
Yeah,
and nobody wants to carry around a battery pack that's like the size of a sandwich.
A battery pack the size of a sandwich. Yeah, that would be unpleasant, especially for those of us that don't regularly carry bags. Like where does that even go?
Yeah, those of us with small pockets.
Small pockets, small pockets, small phones. This thing will have to be it would have to be just absolutely huge on the iPhone 12 mini. Just, I can't imagine it's particularly small anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They wouldn't want it to overlap the edges of the mini, right? It would have to fit into the footprint of the mini.
Yeah, so then I think the thickness becomes a concern.
Right.
Yeah. I'm still excited to see it because we had I think it's Anchor came out with a similar product, and it's out now, but it only charges at, I want to say 7.5 watts. It doesn't charge at 10 or even the full 15 of MagSafe.
It doesn't reverse charge, does it?
And it doesn't reverse charge.
Yeah, it's just for the phone.
So something that reverse charges, and I have to assume it would at least get close to 15 watt charging. So a fast charging power brick,
right,
for the iPhone. I want to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Would be cool.
All right, so now we're getting into the rumors proper, because it was just rumor vomit this week. Truly, just a tsunami. All right, I'm going to start with my particular favorite, just because I think it's so weird. There's a rumor that there's another rumor this week that we're going to see at least one portless version of the iPhone 13. I would guess if we do see it, it's some sort of Pro, although some leakers have backed away from the portless iPhone rumors recently. But this particular one says that because this particular iPhone won't have a port, it will rely on internet recovery for restoring. Internet recovery on an iPhone, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing could go wrong with that.
What could possibly.
I really hope Apple doesn't do a portless iPhone because I just don't want it.
You have no faith in it. I have no
No.
faith in it.
I mean, the problem is another problem with it is just simply charging. You're limited to using a case that's compatible with wireless charging. So that means no like super heavy duty cases, no pop sockets, no grips on the back, like no wallets on the back. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just eliminates a whole class of cases that a lot of people like to use.
Yeah. I would imagine that they would have to really, they wouldn't add a second charging port. They would put something in place of where the lightning port is. Something like, they got rid of the headphone jack. They put I think a barometer in there, in the space where the headphone jack was. And so yeah, I for a while I thought, well, maybe they could put some kind of magnetic charger there, and then they introduced MagSafe, and it's on the back of the phone. So yeah, I'm kind of with you, Christine. I don't think I want this. But what I really don't want is internet recovery on an iPhone.
There's so many problems wrong with just so many problems with that.
It's not like it's a perfected technology on the Mac yet.
Yeah.
I would be entertained, however, to see recovery mode like it exists on Mac OS on an iPhone. I do think that'd be funny, just not on my iPhone.
Yeah, there is the concern that Annie brings up in the comments about CarPlay.
Yeah, and I mean wireless CarPlay is a thing, but it's not as widespread as wired CarPlay.
No.
The third-party head units you can get, I think, are still predominantly wired CarPlay. Mine is wired CarPlay.
Right.
I think it would be easier if Apple could incorporate some kind of data component into future revisions of MagSafe. It would be a better solution. So it's not quite, it's not a port, but they could do some kind of high frequency wireless transfer because the puck is directly connected to the iPhone. So like mmWave 5G, but it works. Because it's the connection's right there. I could see it, but I don't see that happening for a while. So I think if they can get a data component into MagSafe at some point, then I can see portless maybe working. But until then, no. And I have to emphasize this: no to internet recovery for iPhones.
Yeah. And then for CarPlay, there'd have to be some kind of dongle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which, so many dongles.
Yeah. You've got the little USB thing that comes out of your glove compartment. Or at least it comes out of my glove compartment. And then you could put a Bluetooth dongle on that. And that's how you can turn your wired CarPlay wireless. But I don't want to have to go through that because that dongle is not going to work 100% of the time. It.
No.
Or everyone can just buy an Apple car when they come out.
Yeah, right.
The Hyundai or Nissan or Mercedes-Benz.
No new CarPlay. No new CarPlay rumor. No new Apple Car rumors this week.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
it's surprising, but also kind of good. I kind of like it.
Yeah, because presumably we're actually going to hear something soon about the other stuff. Not that we're not going to hear about the Apple Car for real for a while.
Years, multiple years. I would imagine to be something official, but yeah. So that is not the only iPhone 13 rumor we've got. Ming-Chi Kuo, the sort of leaker extraordinaire, really. He just always with the sort of early leaks on these has just published a complete flood of rumors about new iPhones, some that are coming this year, some that are coming next year. But let's start this year with the iPhone. He's calling it the iPhone 13. So this isn't stuff that we haven't heard before, but he's collecting it all in sort of one spot here. And first up, we've got the notch. The notch is supposedly getting smaller, and by smaller,
oh, thank God.
Christine is tired of the notch. Christine is tired of the notch. We love to see it. But yeah, the notch, when we say smaller, it's not necessarily what you're thinking. So one of the notch might not be getting thinner. This way, it might actually be shrinking more towards the top of the phone, and actually, so it doesn't protrude as far in. Is one of the rumors. But the other rumor about the display, because I think the notch concerns the display, is that yes, we're getting an up to 120 hertz ProMotion display. Are we excited about this? Are we excited about ProMotion, first of all? Do we care?
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm not sure if I can actually tell the difference when it comes to ProMotion and like the refresh rate.
I think for gamers on the iPhone, it will be a really big deal. I don't see it mattering much for everybody else.
Buttery smooth. Yeah.
Maybe would FaceTime be better? Because FaceTime is usually pretty blurry.
I don't know that it would be, but one thing about ProMotion, I like that it's there on the iPad Pro, but I've noticed that I used to notice the 120 hertz a lot when I got the first iPad Pro with ProMotion. I don't notice as much anymore. Christine, do you? I know you have an iPad Pro. Do you find this similar experience?
Yeah, I don't think I really notice it. I mostly actually just use my iPad Pro for watching videos.
And then ProMotion actually ramps down in those particular instances. Unless it can ramp down to 60. It can also ramp down. I want to say it ramps down to 48 to properly display 24 hertz content like movies and TV shows. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about. The variable refresh rate. I'm less excited about 120. Variable refresh rate is good. 120 is nice. Just don't kill my battery. But Christine, you seem really excited about the prospect of a shrinking notch.
Yes. Like when the iPhone X
10
or 10 first
they
came
called
out,
it 10.
I'm going to call it X.
It's X in my heart.
When that first came out, I wasn't a fan of the notch, so I actually didn't get it, and I just got I think I got the 8 Plus because I'm like, that notch is ugly. Why would I want that on my phone? And then I got the 10s, and I guess I got used to it, but I still don't like it. I would rather like the Android phones where they have like the hole punch kind of thing. I want that. So I can.
I don't like that triple hole punch though. It sets off my trypophobia. That I don't like the look of like a bunch of holes like that.
So yeah, it's good that you bring this up, Christine, because that's another rumor, not for this year's iPhone, but for next year's iPhone, that Apple is going to ditch the notch entirely, except it's going to go for a hole punch. So there'll still be a little blemish on the screen, but it's going to be a hole punch. That's the rumor anyway. So you'd be more excited about that?
Yeah.
My question about
one hole. I'd be okay with one hole punch. I don't like the 3 hole punch rumor that's out though.
Yeah, I think that's. I wonder if that's more of a concept. My question is, what do they do about Face ID? I don't think they'll, like, even though there are rumors of Touch ID making its way back to the iPhone even as early as this year, I don't think they're going to ditch Face ID. It's, in a lot of cases, it's better than Touch ID in my experience with both. It's better.
Except when you wear a mask.
Except when you wear a mask unless you have an Apple Watch. And you have the betas running. There's a couple of asterisks there, but yeah. I wonder what they're going to do with the Face ID, the rest of the Face ID hardware, because actually the camera is not part of the camera itself isn't really part of the Face ID hardware. The dot projector and those scanners are like the infrared scanner, that sort of thing. Those are it. Where are those going? That's what I want to know. Where are you putting them, Apple?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Although if they figured out a better under display fingerprint sensor as one of the rumors has been, then
I would want that.
I have faith that they might be able to move some of those sensors under the display. So yeah, there's that rumor as well. Yeah. So moving on to 2022. So we've talked about the notch or the lack of it. That might be coming up next fall. But there's also a rumor for not flagship iPhones, but a new iPhone SE coming early next year, which that would be great because it was like 4 years between the original iPhone SE and the latest one. So 2 years. We're cutting that time down. We're getting people fast chips in older chassis faster than ever. Are we how do we feel about a new iPhone SE coming possibly next year, and what are we looking to see in it?
Well, I think it's great because I think it's good to have an entry-level iPhone because there are a lot of people that would like to own an iPhone, but they don't necessarily need to have all the latest technology or anything fancy. They just want an iPhone that does what iPhones do. And I think adding 5G is the rumored spec and a faster chip. Hey, great.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine, this fall we'll see an A15, right? We're on the A14. So it would be A15. Yeah. Probably see the A15 come to the next iPhone SE.
Yeah. As long as the important thing is keeping that price point low.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Like the price point for the iPhone SE is really good.
Yeah.
Like it's a great value.
Yeah, and I hate to tell people who just want like a cheaper iPhone to buy an older iPhone. Like for example, like when my mom needs a new iPhone, like I don't want to tell her to get an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8 because that's older technology, and at some point she's going to be struggling with it because it's not going to get the update, or the update is going to break it, or how things go when they get old. I would feel much more comfortable telling her to get the newest SE because she doesn't need all the features that the latest model has, but I'd rather her have the newer technology.
Now, here's my question for the both of you. Do you think we will stick with the sort of iPhone 8 design, or are we going to move on to the iPhone 10, iPhone 12, the notch design?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we're eventually going to move on to getting everybody used to the swipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Touch ID in the power button or something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
What I'm also wondering is if we do move on to, let's say, an iPhone 12 style design, I mean, what size are they gonna? Will the new iPhone SE be the size of an iPhone 12, or are they gonna go iPhone 12 mini?
That's a really good question.
The iPhone 12 mini, probably.
It is the less expensive option.
Yeah.
And do we think OLED or LCD still? Because I know a lot of people don't care, but maybe Apple thinks, maybe it's more efficient for Apple to just make one kind of display, or what do we think?
I feel like they'll probably stick with LCD because wasn't OLED be more expensive to?
Yeah, I think it is more expensive to manufacture. I think it might be a little soon if it's early next year. So about a year from now, really, it might be a little soon to bring OLED that far down the line.
I feel like Apple uses the SE as a means to get rid of its leftover parts.
It might. And,
so,
and maybe if they ditch the mini models, that'll be a way to do that.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. There was a lot of talk this year about how the 12 mini sort of cannibalized the iPhone SE and vice versa. So maybe the next move is to sort of combine them into a single model.
Yeah.
So maybe not this year, but the following next year.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
Yeah, it would be even closer than it's been before to giving you a flagship truly giving you a flagship iPhone in a much cheaper design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. Or maybe it would just look like an iPhone 11. So it still has the rounded edges, but it's a Face ID kind of phone.
Right. I could see Apple doing that because that would be using the leftover iPhone 11 parts.
Yeah, and I assume they'll discontinue the iPhone 11 this year. It's currently I think it's the entry level Face ID phone. Like if you want Face ID, you get the 11. If you just want an iPhone, you get the iPhone. You still get the SE, but you want Face ID, you get the 11, and then there's the 12 line. I assume
Are they not
12...
selling the 10R anymore? I thought they
might
were.
be. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. It's gotten a little easier, but
check.
But yeah. Oh yeah, they are. They're still selling the iPhone 10R, so that's the entry level Face ID model. So maybe the iPhone 11 will knock that down.
I only remember that because I remember one of Luke's articles about the 10R being the ugly duckling.
Yeah, see, that's the phone I would not recommend. Like if my mom needed a new phone, the conventional wisdom has always been, oh, buy an older phone. But I wouldn't let my mom buy a 10R at this point. I would say, get the SE. It's newer and it's cheaper, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's only, I want to say only by $100, but it might be $200.
So the SE starts at $399 and the 10R starts at $499.
So $100.
Yeah.
And I think considering the SE, I think has the newer processor. It has the processor from the iPhone 11.
Like, what are you getting for your extra $100 on the 10R?
You're getting a less powerful phone,
an older phone.
Maybe you like the colors better. I like the 10R's colors better than the 11's.
Okay, well, whatever. Get a case,
Yeah.
A larger screen would be the only advantage. Like if you want that larger screen.
But some people don't want the larger screen,
Some
and
people
that's why they stick with the SE, because it's the 4.7-inch phone, even though it's technically bigger than the iPhone Mini. It's got a much lower price tag than the Mini, and it's maybe a more familiar, more comfortable design, and that has Touch ID. I have to think Touch ID is some part of the draw there.
Yeah. Sure. A lot of people don't like change. So sometimes it takes people years to get over the fact that they're going to have to give up the home button and the Touch ID.
Yeah.
So years have passed now, so it's time.
Karen says, no more home button for you.
Get over it.
Karen is
learn how to
down
swipe.
the law. She's laying down the law.
My 70-something-year-old father-in-law has learned how to do the swipe with his new iPhone. He's swiping now. So if he can do it, y'all can do it.
Yeah, that's I gotta say, I'm kind of of the same mind as you, Karen, is adapt. Just like adapt if you can. Although for people that just want a cheap iPhone, I don't begrudge the SE's existence, but the idea that they should bring the home button back, which I don't hear a lot, but I hear sometimes, is no, let's not do that. But yeah, I think we're looking at an 11 style phone, or maybe 12 mini style phone for the 2022 iPhone SE. Maybe.
I hope the 12 design, because flat edges.
Flat edges for everything. We got flat edges on the iPad Air. Soon we'll have them on the iPad Mini. Let's get them on the regular iPad. Let's get them on those colorful iMacs. Flat edges for everything. Let's get full on flat edges on the Apple TV remote. Come on, Apple, you can do it. I believe in this. But yeah, another so another sort of, we had the 2022 rumor of the hole punch. But we can move even further into the future than that now. Because there's yet another iPhone rumor from Ming-Chi Kuo. And this is about the supposed foldable iPhone in 2023. And yeah, the rumor is this is going to be a 7.5 to 8 inch foldable device. hitting the market in 2023.
I want it.
You want it?
I want it. Yep.
That's so foldable iPhone has Karen's votes. This feels like not, if it's going to be 7.5 to 8 inches, that feels like not the clamshell that we've been hearing about. This feels like more the Galaxy Fold type, the folio.
Yeah. Yeah, 8 inches is pretty big for a phone screen.
It's an iPad mini.
Yeah, it's an iPad. Yeah.
It's an iPad mini in a phone. And
yeah, I would love an iPad mini that I could fold up and put in my pocket.
It's perfect. It's a perfect size tablet to experiment with that with. I wonder what the size, the phone size would be. Would it be the 6.7 inches or thereabouts of the Pro Max? Do you think they could get it as small as 6.1? I dare not hope for anything below 6 inches on that one, but I'd love it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's funny how many people are against the foldable iPhone.
I'm not really a fan of a foldable iPhone.
Even if it was executed perfectly, like no crease in the screen, like you just open it up and it was like perfect and beautiful. Would you still hate it?
I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of folding devices. Like, how am I supposed to carry that in my pocket? I have small pockets. I wear women jeans. There's small pockets. How am I supposed to carry this?
But it would fold down small. Like if it was Pro Max size, I probably wouldn't buy it. But if it was the size of the Pro or the 12, I would go for it. If it was the same size as the phone you use now, except that it folded into a larger screen.
So would it not be like thicker?
A little thicker. It would have to be a little thicker, I assume. But not like double.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just skeptical on foldables.
I think Christine brings up a really good point about jean pockets. And this is, look, bypassing the issue for a moment that the pockets on women's jeans are criminally designed. It is something that people should go to jail over. I like it is the issue of thickness. If you can get me a Westworld phone tablet folding thing, then I'll be excited. But until you can crack that, I don't care. Like it needs to be as thick as a current iPhone is when it's folded up. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get excited about it.
Yeah, I'll just have to see. I'll have to see how big it actually is.
We're going to let Karen be the guinea pig on this one.
Yeah, because for me, smaller is better, but I would like a larger screen. Definitely.
Yeah. I want a small phone, but with a large. Yeah, it's the conundrum of the ages.
Well, that's the idea of a folding phone, is the smaller phone with a larger screen.
I wonder if maybe we'll see a folding iPad first. Like it starts as an iPad mini and then expands into like an 11-inch Pro, or maybe even at the mini size, it could expand to a 13-inch Pro.
Yeah, maybe all of those things. Maybe they'll make one that's the size of a mini, but it folds out into maybe not 8 inches, but say 7-ish or something, and then maybe a larger one that would fold into something even larger.
I just had an idea. Folding Mac. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh. Well, it's a brilliant idea. It's just too bad somebody thought of it first.
Yeah, it's like when you think of an idea for a good TV show and then you realize you've just created The Wire. That's already there. But yeah, foldables. I'm very skeptical about clamshell foldables. I'm less skeptical about tablet style foldables overall. I would love to see one that really worked. That would be great. But I'm not enthusiastic about wading through the sort of the public development years of that. We're seeing that we've seen some of that already with the Galaxy Fold, and like the Fold. I say it's the Fold 2, but I think it's actually it's now the Galaxy Z Fold. They just changed the naming scheme one generation in. Like the front of that phone is already better than the first generation because it takes up the entire front. But it's still got it's the thickness problem for me. I'm with Christine on this.
Yeah. You're not a fan of using paying customers as beta testers.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to let people download software, but you you can't download a phone. You wouldn't
Right.
download a phone. I absolutely would download a phone.
Yeah, here, give us your $1,000 and we'll let you beta test for us.
$1,500. That's the thing. Give us $1,500 and you can beta test it. And I mean,
Right.
you can say what you want about phones these days being boring, and to which I say, good. I'm glad you're bored with phones. They should be boring. They're tools. But for people who are really into just the next big gadget, in ways that even I'm not, this could be an exciting thing. And Karen, we are going to look for you to really guinea pig out on this one.
Yeah. I volunteer. I'll be the guinea pig.
We're going to do the folding iPhone diaries, a 12-part series on iMore.
Yeah.
Coming 2023. Yeah. Now we do have a couple of rumors that are one that's a little, I think, closer to our current timeline. But this one's a weird one to me. A supposed leak this week, from I think it's Lao Bai TD on Twitter, is showing off a supposed new Apple Pencil. Although what's new about it, there's really only one thing that I can see so far, and it's the nib.
The nib is a little different, and he says it's going to be available in black.
Yes.
Okay.
Which now make it matte black, and Apple has my attention on that one. Assuming they also do something with it. What do we make of an Apple Pencil 3? What do we want to see from an Apple Pencil 3?
I want to be able to use the Apple Pencil with my iPhone.
There it is.
Yeah, that would
Apple
be the
Pencil.
big new feature, would be able to use it. How about just being able to use it on all of the iPads? I mean, right now, only certain pencils could really work with certain iPads. How about an Apple Pencil that just works with everything?
A universal Apple Pencil?
Yes.
That's, I don't know. That might be an accessory that works with any main device you could buy. I don't know. That might be asking too much. But yeah, it occurred to me earlier this week. Actually, I was thinking about it after this rumor came out. Is the way it works right now. So there are 4 iPad types that Apple makes. You got the iPad, iPad Mini, iPad Air, and iPad Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's 4 types and 5 models because you got the 2 sizes of Pro. The Apple Pencil compatibility is exactly 50-50. So half of those iPads support the first generation pencil, and half of them support the generation 2 pencil. And theoretically, I mean, we've heard a lot about an iPad Mini redesign. Theoretically, that would then mean this gets a little more confusing, where you've got only one iPad now, which would be the 10.2 inch iPad supporting the original pencil, and the rest of them support the Apple Pencil too. And I
don't like that.
Yeah.
That feels like a nightmare.
I mean, think about a family where different people in the family have different models of iPad, but they would like to share an Apple Pencil.
Mm-hmm.
They can't if they don't have the same compatibility models.
Exactly. If like mom and dad have Pros, and sister has Air, but little brother has a Mini or a 10.2 inch, like what?
Right. We need a universal pencil. That's the way to go. And
I think that's more about getting all of the iPads in line, rather than making, say, a pencil that charges both inductively and through the Lightning port, because that's some kind of Frankenstein's jalopy Apple Pencil.
Yeah.
I'm not for it, but
yeah, that's true. I guess we can't have a thoroughly magnetic charging Apple Pencil until all of the iPads are brought up to speed.
And I hope that rumor is that might happen sooner rather than later. Maybe not fully this year, but in the next year or so, like within the next 12, 15 months.
Yeah, that's a problem though, now that I think about it, because people hang on to their iPads for 10 years.
They do.
So they can take it off of Apple's website, not sell it anymore, but people are still going to own it for years to come, and they're going to want an Apple Pencil. And if you have to say, oh, well, sorry, you can't use the universal Apple Pencil because you don't have a magnetic charging strip on the side of your iPad. So,
which kills me because it's both an easier charging method and it's easier to pair. It's just quick. You just click it on there and it pairs. It's a lot better than even though it's easy with the first generation pencil where you stick it in the lightning port and it pairs itself as well.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's a lot faster on the Pro style iPads with the Apple Pencil too. But do we think, other than it writes on iPhone now, what do we think about, like, are there any capabilities that we think this needs? Like, there's some Android stylus like the S Pen or Wacom tablets that have different like buttons or capabilities.
Right, that you can set in the settings. That you can customize. That would be good. The other thing that some Styli have is the ability to use it kind of like a trackpad.
Mm-hmm.
So something like that.
Yeah, I'm just struggling to think about what a Pencil 3 should be.
Yeah, I think universality is the big thing, and customizability would be the other big thing. Like if you could have different taps mean different things depending on what you use, depending on your needs.
Expand the gesture area.
Yeah.
And, like, have different, like, even segment it, not like physically on the device, but just, digitally. The part closest to the tip, has the double tap, and then you do like a quadruple tap in the middle to, I don't know, activate color palettes or something. The one hardware feature I could see them doing is finally bringing some kind of automatic eraser to it, so the other end becomes a tip.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like so you just flip it over like with a real pencil and erase like you would with a real pencil. That would be fun.
Yeah, it automatically activates, and then I suppose there could be settings to, like, so it's not, you could put two different drawing tools on it if you wanted. So like the tip is a pencil, but then you flip it around and then it's a paintbrush, depending on the app. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Or that you could customize it the way you want it. So you could have the back be an eraser, or you could have it be a paintbrush, depending on what you would use.
Yeah, it's defaults as an eraser, but
yeah,
it's cool. All right, and finally we have one more rumor I want to tackle. And it's not really a rumor, it's more of a patent, but people run wild with that sort of thing. This goes back to the idea of a portless iPhone, although I would call this one not quite portless. It's still kind of a port because it goes into the phone. It's a patent for a possible replacement of Lightning. Now, I don't know that they would need to do this. It's sort of the same idea as why go portless in the first place, but it's this magnetic connector. At least the report is calling this MagSafe. Not the patent itself, but the report about it is calling it MagSafe. And it's just this little sort of indent, sort of wide indent in the bottom of the phone with a connector with a matching nub.
Yeah. Yeah,
like the old MacBooks.
Yeah, a little, like an updated version of that.
But it's not like a hole, so it's not going to get dust and dirt and junk in it. I think it's a good idea because it's cleaner and it's still it's at the bottom of the phone, so you can still use any kind of case you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. Now, there's nothing about data transfer in here, which I'm telling you, internet recovery on an iPhone, no.
No.
Well, we would hope that data would still be transferable through it.
Yeah, I think especially if you have the there's no time pressure, I think, here in getting this sort of thing done. So I hope figuring out a data transfer through this would be great, or it would be a priority. But yeah, I think you're right, Karen. Get it, at least when I predominantly charged through a wire, because I'm mostly wireless charging now, getting like pocket lint or little bits of dust in the lightning port was sort of the number one frustration. Forget the 30-pin connector. Dust and debris in there was an actual nightmare because I was paranoid that I'd scratch up the pins every time I'd go to clean it out. But yeah, this could be. I would hope that they would do a similar thing that they did when they got rid of the headphone jack, and they'd include a little adapter that has a lightning port on it that you could put your existing lightning plug on and then connect to your iPhone.
Yeah, they'd have to do that as a transition.
Yeah, being better at transitions when it comes to adapters. That's the goal, I think, here for Apple. Just make it easier, make it less painful.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, though.
Yeah, but no USB-C. We can't have USB-C. We can't have a standard connector for everything.
I just want USB-C. Like
you
the iPad Pros have it. Like, why not on the iPhone?
iPad Pro, MacBooks, Mac desktops, but not iPhone.
Yeah, the ideal would be for all of the companies to just agree on one connector, and everybody does it on everything.
You said all companies and agree, and this is where your request falls down for every single one of them.
Yeah.
I do like, AirPods Max even has a lightning port. They can't even put USB-C in the AirPods Max. What are we doing here, Apple? Like, it's just so demoralizing on the connector front. You could do some kind of MagSafe USB-C connector if you really wanted to. You could take USB-C, make that the standard, and then do some kind of MagSafe thing with it. I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, it would be nice not to have to carry at least 3 different kinds of cables with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we can dream, though. I mean, but that's what we do have to resign ourselves to the fact that it is a dream. It is a dream. All right, we've really come down to the end of it here. I want to thank Christine for joining us this week. It's great having you on. I want to thank all of the live watchers and live listeners that showed up, and people in the comments who always have fun things to say and good questions to ask. I want to thank people who are going to listen later in their podcatcher of choice. We do this for the audience. If you guys didn't show up one way or another, we just wouldn't do this. Obviously,
we might.
Well,
but it wouldn't be as much fun.
It wouldn't be as much fun. That's true. And yeah, the commenters, especially, you always provide a great deal of fun for us. We like being able to read as we talk here.
For sure.
Of course, we have to thank Jim Metzendorf, the always thankable Jim Metzendorf, who makes it sound great, our editor extraordinaire. And then, I just want to say it's been a packed show. It's been a fun show. Bit full of rumors, full of interesting news. So let's do it again next week, everybody. Yeah. This has been the iMore show, and until next time.
Bye.